This is an IELTS speaking simulation, self-practice test 3. Let's begin. If you've heard these instructions before, please skip forward and begin with part number 1 of the speaking test. Just to review some of this information, each speaking test has different questions, so I'm giving you a variety of the types of questions you're going to face on the exam. Some speaking tests will ask questions as if you're a student, others will ask questions as if you have a job. It's a good idea to go ahead and practice answering both styles of questions just to get more practice answering questions. I'm going to read out the instructions for each speaking part. However, you can also pause and review those instructions for each speaking part. For parts 1 and 3, you should cover your screen. So make sure if you don't have it, stop right now and get a manila folder or some colored paper so you can cover up your screen so you can't see the questions for parts 1 and 3. Remember, for part 1, you want to speak for 2 to 3 sentences for each question. Part 2, speak the full 2 minutes addressing each point. Part 3, speak in 3 to 4 sentences for each question. For parts 1 and 3, I will ask a question and then pause for about 5 seconds before asking the next question. So what you want to do, after I ask you the question, press the space bar and pause the lecture. Answer the question, and then press the space bar again so you can hear the next question. Remember, do not look at the screen for parts 1 and 3. You will look at the screen for part number 2. Finally, I think it's a great idea to record your speaking test. Everybody has a phone these days, so go ahead and get the Otter AI application. They have it for the Android and they have it for Apple PC versions, but you can upload your recording into the Otter website so you can get a transcription of your speaking performance. This is great for doing your own self-assessment. Remember to simulate the exam and don't cheat yourself. At the end of the speaking test, there are instructions on how to do your own self-assessment. Let's get started. Part 1. Cover your screen right now so you cannot see the questions. I'm going to ask a question, pause for 5 seconds, and then ask the next question. Press the space bar so you can pause and answer, and then when you finish, start the video again so you can hear the next question. Good luck. Let's talk about your studying. What is the most interesting thing about what you study? Is your subject a difficult subject to study? What is more important for you, lecturers or friends? Let's talk about your hometown. What are people like in your hometown? How has your hometown changed over the past 10 years? Do you plan to live in your hometown in the near future? Let's move forward and talk about mathematics. Do you think mathematics are essential to you? How is mathematics helpful? How is mathematics helpful to you in real life? Did you have a secondary school teacher who made mathematics easy to understand for you? Let's now talk about names. Do you find remembering names difficult? Did you ever feel bad when someone mispronounced your name? Did you ever upset someone by pronouncing their name incorrectly? Let's now move forward and talk about recycling. Do you recycle? Is recycling popular in your country? What should we recycle? Okay, let's now move on to part two. Now it's okay for you to uncover your screen for part two. Part two is the only part where you can see the question. I'm going to give you 1 minute to review the topic card and take notes, and afterwards you'll have 2 minutes to deliver your response. Describe a time when you had to wait in a long queue or line. Please say, when was it? How long was the queue? Why did you have to wait? And explain how you felt about waiting in this long line. You have 1 minute to prepare. Please stop. You now have 2 minutes to deliver your response. You may begin speaking now. Okay, please stop. That's the end of your 2 minutes. We're going to now move on to part 3. All right, so cover your screen so you cannot see the questions. I'm going to ask a question, pause for about 5 seconds, and then ask the next question. You must press the space bar and pause the video after each question so you can deliver your response. Once you finish, press the space bar and continue to the next question. Let's begin. So let's talk a little bit more about waiting in line. First, what do people like to do when waiting in line? Next, do people of your country often wait in a queue? Now, do you think development of technology has reduced waiting time in lines? Finally, how can companies improve their customer service? Okay, thank you so much for completing that third self-practice test. Make sure you listen to the recording of yourself so you can do a really good self-assessment. Look at the rubric for each part. See where you stand in terms of your fluency, pronunciation, grammar, lexical ability. Upload your recording into the Otter website so you can look at the transcription. This will allow for you to examine your grammar and lexical ability. Also, you can sort of check your pronunciation, because if it's not transcribing what you think you said, then there may be some issues on some words you need to work on in terms of pronunciation. The goal of these practice tests is for you to help make yourself better. Also, to increase your comfort level with answering questions. It's a great idea to create a self-assessment table so you can really examine yourself, improve yourself. Hopefully, if you've been making hesitations or doing a lot of hesitation in your speech in practice test 1 and practice test 2, hopefully now you're doing it a little bit less. If before in practice test 1 and 2, you were not paraphrasing the question, you were just repeating the question, but now you're paraphrasing the question, you should be able to see that improvement. In speaking test 1 and 2, if you were not using a lot of great connectives and improving your sentence variety by making compound and complex sentences with those coordinate conjunctions, subordinate conjunctions, and those adverbs, however, moreover, right? So really look at yourself. Let's keep on improving. If you need to examine the band descriptors, please pause right here and look over them very carefully. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next practice test.